So I guess, I've not made a video for a while. I always start a video by saying I've not made a video for a while. I'm trying to hash out some ideas, literally. Um, the morning sun when it hits your face really shows your age, eh? But that don't worry me none, because in my eyes you're everything. So I want to talk about Me Too and porn and not all men. The problem with the statement not all men, other than it's pretty abhorrent and it really refuses to take into account the social structures, the socialisation and the effects of capitalism and patriarchy on us. And if you just blurt out not all men, you've not really considered it much, and you've not thought about what your role as an individual in our group as a class, men as a class, what we've done and what we continue to do, not just to women but to children and the natural world. And it's actually a very specific group of men that are most notorious for it, and that's me, white, middle class, privileged men. So the inherent problem with not all men is like I say, it doesn't really take in the overall ramifications of living in a imperial, militarized, pornified, capitalist patriarchy. Because even though not all men rape and go out and commit violent sexual acts, or even just acts of violence against themselves, against their communities, against individuals, the socialisation process that men are exposed to breeds that kind of behaviour. And that's what we need to address when we're talking about not all men. Because not all men have raped. But all men are socialised by the same sexual violence or exposure to objectification and sexual violence, and viewing women as potential sexual mates. That's a very inherent, a very primitive part of our brain. And as human beings, we have the ability to feel exceptional depths of empathy for other people, for inanimate objects, for the natural world. But capitalism and patriarchy socialises that empathy out of us. It's not productive for capitalism if it's full of really emphatic individuals. And, me as an individual being socialised in a patriarchy, my sexual socialisation, it's really caused a lot of cognitive dissonance within me. And maybe if I had been another type of human being, maybe I would have expressed it much more through violence. And I have expressed it through violence. I've been in trouble with the law. I've smashed things up. I've fought with my mum. I've fought with my dad. I've fought with girlfriends. I've fought with complete strangers. I've been high. I've been drunk. I've been insane. So I've been there. And like I say, we want to come back to the socialisation process that we're all exposed to in this patriarchy. And for men, I call myself a male radical feminist, and I've had some issues with myself about calling myself a male radical feminist. I've had a lot of criticism for calling myself a male radical feminist. But I call myself a male radical feminist because the systems of oppression that affect women affect me. And yeah, I am from part of that privileged class, and we can have arguments about whether I'm oppressed or not. But the fact of the matter is, patriarchy socialised me in a particular way, which has left me completely dysfunctional for the most part. I'm sitting here talking to my phone, and I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff out. I, you know, I try to be specific, but I've not written anything down, so I'm just waffling about stuff that I think about. So men are socialised by the patriarchy, and they're socialised to be pretty horrific human beings. You know, we've got a lot of really stark, brutal examples of this in our world today. And I think I need to talk about my personal experience, my socialisation process, my exposure to pornography, and how that affected me growing up, and how it's influenced the adult that I've become.